Chapter 4 review of Undead Unluck called How to Use My Unluck. So, hey, you ready for this? Let's go. So we start off with seeing Shen, where it appears it looks like he coming from somewhere. I'm assuming training or whatnot, but it just seems like he's just enjoying him. He said he wore these gloves specifically for Little Miss Unlucky here, and hitting her would be overkill. Then we see this girl called Mui out here telling him that she has delivered a convincing report. And one of that is that Miss Jenna is currently on the pursuit of undead. So someone is on the pursuit of undead. But Shen not to worry for them two, because those two with experience that he's witnessed, they got trick up their sleeve. And we transition to Undead and Unluck over here, and they're having well, at least Undead is having a fun time on the boat while she's fucking terrified. Why she's terrified? Well, the amount of people that Shen said that's gonna be after them. Yeah, I can see why she'd be terrified of that shit. Then out of nowhere, two fucking airplanes just came out of the nowhere, just started attacking the fucking boat. Andy asking Unluck to use her abilities, but she's implying that the way how her abilities works is not really beneficial in this sense. And Andy out here teaching her that it's not just the ability, it's how you use it. Because for him, it's simple. His ability is just simply not dying. But in being a little bit creative, he bitten his arm to and have it replace a new arm with the old one. He's able to use the old one that he bit off and use it as a fucking rocket. And using that, he just one shot one of the fucking jets. This is funny. She thinks that we killed the Union, and he's telling her that I don't think you listen to Shen. We gotta kill those two. We gotta kill another person with a gold emblem on them. Oh, sorry, not a gold emblem, but a emblem on them. He's notifying that the first two that they fought had gold emblem on them, and he knew at least 3 of these people, in fact, that he knows specifically that has these emblems. I keep saying gold emblems, but emblems. And one of them is called the Unbreakable, and the Unbreakable is the one where he got that fucking indestructible sword from. The second person is the one that was in charge of the torture experiment on Andy 50 years ago, and then the third one is a person who nabbed Andy for 50 years ago, a lady who create invisible barriers. Yeah, she used her abilities to trap Andy's head in like an invisible ball. So as they're talking about the positives, we take a few zoom out to outer space actually, and we're inside of a shuttle where we see this mysterious lady as she's watching them closely, or specifically Andy, since the way how she's talking, it seems like she knows him a lot. More and more likely could be the girl he was talking about, like the third one with the invisible ball, maybe. In disputing that, she charged up a large beam or whatever attack from the satellite and completely one-shot the fucking ship that they was on. While Andy obviously survived because, undead, he's swimming down to get Unluck, who seemed to be almost near to death. As he reached down there, he realized that she was wedged in between the wreckage and shit like that. So he uses his ability to just kind of make an open space for both of them to get free. And then he starts seeing these volcanic underwater volcanoes. That will come important later on. After Andy saved her from drowning, she eventually wakes up. And she's just overall confused of what the fuck is going on, because she's waking up to a half sunken ship on some Titanic shit. And the reason why they both got their hands up is that in front of them, they got a whole fucking jet ready to blast their ass. And basically all this that he's doing is for him to experiment on how her abilities work. What's the mechanism for her to use her ability properly. As you remember the events where the meteorite and the lightning, he realized that she pulled things from very far away, or at least one of her unlock abilities is that she pulls things from very far away. And it's not just him touching her that allows her ability to activate it. It's things that matters to her deeply, and it's those same material things that are needed to output strokes of unluck proportionate. And because of this, he found a source that will produce a stroke of unluck proportionate to the value. As she's confused, she feels something weird on her. When she looked down, she realized that her bra was pushed all the way up, because due to the fact that she was unconscious, yeah, he would have to do CPR on her to for her to regain back her consciousness. She tripping the fuck out because she realized that he just went basically for the titties, is essentially. Eventually, she was hoping that that was the only thing that he did, but due to the fact that she was still unconscious, he also had to do mouth to mouth. And in doing so, just completely stroke a huge proportion of unluck, due to the fact that the same underwater volcano blew up the rest of the ship, and have these two flying. As he's flying, he uses this new ability called Repair Boost, where he pushed the sword in his arm, and I'm assuming he used that to propel himself somehow. But he eventually got onto the jet. And he also used his second attack called Crimson Crescent Moon, where he uses his forearms to boost his slashing attack, to boost his quick draw slashing attack. As he used that ability to kill the fucking pilot. Unluck, out of pure concern, realizing that his arm is bleeding, but due to the fact that he doesn't carry a sheath, yeah, he just stuck that shit in his arm, or in the back, the shoulder, wherever. After confirming his hypothesis when it comes to her abilities, all he got to do now is just find sources for the stroke of unluck, to gauge the sense of what level of contact is good to trigger her abilities, because her ability is not an accident, instead it's more of a trump card. But she still feel like it's a fluke, and relying on her and her abilities is just gonna damage the overall mission. But Andy don't give a fuck, so is what it is. As they use the jet, they taking it straight to Baikal, and that's the end of the chapter. This one, I like it. I like how he's teaching her, but at the same time also like telling her that her ability is not a curse, it's a blessing basically. And I can't wait for the extra chapters that I'm going to react to later on this week, if not next week. So just stay tuned for that and have a good one.